Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us again. We're live, and we have a fun episode lined up for you today. Another day, another set of stories that prove reality is stranger than fiction, as fiction becomes reality. Welcome back to the Rethink Tank Live. Tonight, we're sailing straight into some uncharted waters. First up, the anime One Piece isn't just about pirates anymore. It's becoming a rallying cry for revolution across the globe. Then, over in Riyadh, top American comics are cracking jokes for Saudi royalty at the Riyadh Comedy Festival. What does it mean when laughter itself gets political? And finally, hundreds of millions of genetically modified mosquitoes are being released every year. So don't ask questions, folks. It's science. Stick around. We got a lot to rethink today. So something we haven't been able to do in a while, because we got to get right into things, is do updates. So I have some updates for you guys before we get into our One Piece revolution. First update is a big one. Will wants me desperately to keep him in the loop when we get updates with Dank DeMoss. And, you know, when I say big updates, I really didn't even put that together until now. So in January of 2025, Miss DeMoss requested a Lyft ride where in Detroit, the driver had declined it. If you haven't seen the video, you should go watch it. He's just like, no, my car can't handle what you got going on, girl. She went and had a lawsuit against Lyft. Discrimination. What's the protected class here? Large people. That is like a new developing protected class. Didn't even realize that could be a thing until today. Here's the update. She settles for some undisclosed amount. Lyft paid her. Wake up to how oligarchs are really our government. They're setting a legal standard that, pay up. Look at Lyft paid. And once enough people do it, it's like, well, then you got to pay. The legal system will say you got to pay because there's a legal precedent here. You pay when you discriminate against tubbies. And the creme de la creme of this story, the dude lost his job. Yeah, man. So she really did win. So the lawsuit ended just recently here at the end of the summer. It really did revolve around discrimination. Yeah, the orbit revolves around her. But DeMoss has since embraced the publicity, posting empowering content like bikini photos. We're not trying to break your screens today, so we're not showing that one.
PG podcast.
I don't even think that like ice cream flurry is something that becomes even PG-13. That's explicit.
She got the letter that she wanted. She was just like, justice. And eat the burger right after she...
The one singular burger? What world are you living in?
Well, what I didn't get to was the 3 bags behind.
Yeah, there we go. A vehicle expert. This is what I love. Legal documents. A vehicle expert noted that while sedans have payload limits around 800 to 850 pounds, ergo the 100-pound Arab guy driving the thing, not even taking up the 85% of this maximum load. Quote, a single ride like this wouldn't likely cause damage, adding nuance to the driver's safety claim. This sedan looked easily 25 years old. So this wouldn't have been the first time it's gotten close to the line.
She's a literal blind spot.
It's funny because it's literal.
Yeah, like, hey, is someone coming on my right? I don't know. You know, like what?
Okay. And you know what? He's got to care because an accident still affects him.
I'm super liable.
If she gets hit in an accident, she's like, I am the bag. Like, I'm good.
She gets in an accident. She's like, man, you look rough.
Do you remember the video? Like, guys, you got to go back to our past episodes. I couldn't dig up all the footage. But do you remember the video of her trying to show, like, her legal side?
Yeah.
I get in vehicles like this all the time. And she gets in a huge Escalade and couldn't fit.
I was like, it's a giant Yukon. And she's like, this can handle. This is good.
Guys, small Arabian sedan. Same thing. Potato, tomato, you know? So I had to update you with Miss DeMoss. I have, if you think that's awful, I have a truly...
Before you leave, pull that picture up again.
Oh, no.
That's a victim.
Don't know. Don't.
That's a victim. I don't know what you're talking about.
Pay up.
Pay up.
Pay up.
Pay up. I need a burger.
Okay, hold on. I don't want to depart this too much. Before, what happened to America? Like, what happened to... Wait, I'm enslaved to Lyft? I have to drive you? Like, let's just say it wasn't, you're so huge like an elephant, you're going to break my car. What if it's, I drove up, and you know how like the victim women of today's American society would rather run into a bear than a man on the path because men are such dangerous pigs.
Well, that bear would drive her home.
Do I get to say it's discrimination against men if a female driver just feels physically unsafe taking this, or are you enslaved to Lyft? You signed in today to work for me. You are to deny none of my customers. I take off the top. I have no skin in the game, not my vehicle, not my employee. You're an independent contractor. So when you get into an accident, I have no liability, but you are going to work for me today. And when you pull up and it's a dark alley with a creepy guy with a hook, don't you dare. You got it. That's exactly where I was going. You let that hash slinging slasher in that freaking car.
Son of a bitch, he's got places to be.
And it'd be, say it with me now, discrimination. if you don't pick up the hash slinging slasher.
Word of the day, discrimination.
You know, that's, I just,
Alex, you messed up. You should have done it like this. Discrimination.
Yes, thank you, Doug. Thank you. I really wish we had the post-static geniuses that could also put the rainbow. So, getting into our second update of the day here, this one really hits home. You know, here at the Rethink Tank, we have vehemently and loudly, proudly proclaimed to be the podcast that's fighting for 21 Pilots to host the Super Bowl and 21 Pilot Fortnite skins, which, damn it, should be the easiest request we have. Take my money.
They literally have Daft Punk right now.
That's what or the Gorillas.
Yeah.
And hasn't played a song in when?
Never Thank the Bus Driver.
Never think, but Tyler has no Fortnite skins for 21 Pilots. That's neither here nor there. Bad news. This week, it was announced that Bad Bunny, Illuminati King, is going to be hosting the witches ceremony that is the Super Bowl halftime show.
I don't even know who this guy is.
Yeah, you're lucky.
That totally checks out.
What? Why? Are you also calling it an island of garbage? What is going on?
You've never heard of the Bad Bunny?
The Bad Bunny. You know, he has a, what do they call it when you have a contract to just like work in perpetuity at like Las Vegas or something?
Oh, residency.
Yeah, he has a residency in Puerto Rico now. Yep. So if you want to see Bad Bunny, you got to go. No thanks.
Come
to my Super Bowl.
If Jay-Z and Rock Nation want you to play the Super Bowl, then you're allowed to come whenever you want.
See, somebody needs to pull Tyler aside and go, listen, man, you're stopping the black paint too soon.
Oh my.
If you just kept going, you have the job.
I don't even think I want to touch it.
I wouldn't. So the last update of the day. So again, Super Bowl LXI is our new hashtag.
See ya. We're starting it now.
Hashtag 21 Pilots LXI. We're looking to 2027. That's the Super Bowl. That's our game plan. So we just really need Tyler to post one of these videos.
I can't wait.
Give us one of those Illuminati single eye covered. Then you're hosting it.
I can't wait to lose in 12 months to Ice Spice.
It's funny because it hurts because it's true.
I'm looking forward to that one. Explaining that one to my family.
So the last one I have for you is a series of videos, less of an update that we've covered in the past, but more of a topic we just can't leave unaddressed.
Yeah.
I love this weird development in golf where we're trying to keep it entertaining for the kids that can't stop like swiping shorts and TikToks. So we have to keep like vamping up golf. You go and watch the Ryder Cup and it's like, this is not golf, which also makes it incredibly fun.
What makes it unique for a one weekend thing? Yeah.
But how many like Happy Gilmore 2, how many of these are we going to have before it's just like, all right, we've departed golf? But that's neither here nor there. What makes the Ryder Cup fun is that the crowd can get rowdy. Things get loud, and it was the Americans, one country, against a continent, all of Europe. And the Europeans won. It became a tighter match at the end than we expected. They were kind of dominating for a while. But the key takeaway that I want to highlight more than anything from the Ryder Cup is how much the crowd got in Rory McIlroy's head. This dude was at war with...
You know, I give Rory credit, though. He was like, I'm giving it right back. I don't care.
Oh, he leaned into it. Look at this is him walking, like pointing to the score to the fans, like, oh, yeah.
You ever see that video? It's semi on topic, but it's like the Browns beat the Jets, I think, like 2 years ago. I think when we made the playoffs, and you just have this Jets lineman just pointing at Browns fans going like,
Yes.
F you. And it's like, that's what it reminded me of. It's like kind of in good spirit, but I think Rory meant it.
I think Rory meant it. Really it was definitely getting to Rory. But again, justifiably, because it wasn't just good fun that went up to the line. It crossed the line. This clip, excuse the vulgarity, especially at the front of the episode here. But it isn't me, and it's worth, reporting on. This is one of the craziest clips I saw of the Ryder Cup.
Fuck you, Rory! Oh, man.
Seriously.
There's no, like, I respect the Europeans because they have like fun, unique chants, and then ours is just nope, straight to the point. Like, there's no
hootie, rah, 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 and we just go F you right when you're about to putt.
F you and the place you came from.
We beat you undefeated. But
undefeated since 1776.
We're in your head. It does make an interesting element to golf.
Well, it's like every other tournament, right? Every other tournament, it's not like this. Like, you're just appreciative of all the players that are there.
Yes.
But this is the one where it's like the animosity we actually kind of have low key for you is like.
One of the clips I wanted to have prepared was when Rory is hanging like the championship flag, he does it right over Bryson DeChambeau's name. Mm-hmm. Just because, again, they have their own little thing going. So you get to see a different side of these guys. Mm-hmm. Like, man, some of the other Europeans leaned into it, rode the wave. You see Rory can't do it. But that's also, you're seeing the Michael Jordan of golf. Yeah. He's going to be quirky. Yeah. So they win. They beat America. And they do a singing shout out to Donald Trump.
Are you watching? Are you watching? Are you watching God? Are you watching Donald Trump? Are you watching Donald Trump?
Yes, I'm watching. Congratulations. That's a funny tweet from Trump, but
hey, was only there for one day. Aura.
You're thinking about me.
Yeah, still in your head.
That's it. All right, let's get to the first topic of the day, and one that I find is going to be pretty impactful, and probably not the end of this story either. Literally, the story itself, one piece, but then also literally how this is going to impact kind of the movement, the country, us moving forward.
There he is. There's
Luffy. So, kind of discussing the One Piece action across the globe. The left has their rainbow flags, and the global elites have their World Economic Forum logos. And now Gen Z has pirates. That's right. What started as a Japanese anime about treasure hunts and goofy superpowers is turning into a global symbol of rebellion. One Piece, the most popular anime in the world, isn't just entertainment anymore. It's taking over youth culture in America. And now, unbelievably, it's spilling into streets across the globe as a banner of revolution. Let's walk all of this through. In Indonesia, this August during Independence Day protests, young people ditched their national flag and waved the One Piece pirate flag instead. Think about that. Replacing your national symbol with a cartoon pirate crew. The government went ballistic, banning the flag, accusing protesters of treason. But the kids, it wasn't satirical defiance. Basically, it was telling these politicians, you're the real pirates here. Then it spread across to Nepal. Protesters brought the One Piece flag right up to the gates of the royal palace, which, you know what, actually, I could show that image here. This has kind of become one of the more notorious images that is surfacing as reports are going on about this.
I was going to.
Yeah.
I'll save it.
So in the Philippines on September 21st, it became a rallying cry of tens of thousands marching against corruption. So actually, I want to keep this image up while I conclude here.
It's a good image.
It's a good image. It's a great image.
It's a good image of
But it's not just Asia. In France, young people carried it through the streets of Paris. In Italy, dock workers in Ghana blocked No, it isn't. It's Ghana. Blocked the Israeli arms shipment while waving the flag, linking their labor fight to global struggles. In the United Kingdom, it showed up to pro-Palestinian rallies. And here at home in the United States, you saw it pop up in protests in New York and even Des Moines. So where it's tied to anger over immigration enforcement, there's also kind of the blurring of the lines because you're seeing it just in generic rebellion. I'm not going to say that country's name one more time, but really against that too. So why this flag? Why One Piece? Well, Gen Z is searching for meaning. They don't trust institutions anymore. They don't trust governments. And frankly, they don't even trust their parents' traditions. But they do trust pop culture. One Piece is about misfits uniting against corrupt rulers and set sailing to chart their own destiny. That message resonates with young people who feel boxed in by a broken system. The pirate flag isn't about crime. It's about freedom. It's a cartoon version of Don't Tread on Me. Here's the takeaway. Symbols matter. The American flag, the Gadsden flag, the Christian cross all carry deep meaning because they stood for something bigger than the individual. And now, somehow, a Japanese cartoon has given Gen Z a symbol that speaks louder to them than their own national banners. That should concern us, because if kids stop rallying around the flag of their country and instead choose the flag of a pirate crew, it tells you they're not buying into the system anymore. They're looking elsewhere for truth, for belonging, and for hope. Maybe it's time we give them something real to believe in again before they sail off completely into fantasy. So I want to take a look at first, check out this report out of Indonesia.
Southeast Asian country is celebrating its 80th Independence Day later this month. Their president has asked people to fly the national flag. Instead, people are hoisting black flags, the black pirate flags with skulls from One Piece. They believe this is a silent protest, an act of defiance.
Seharusnya mereka cari tahu kenapa sih Indonesia mengibarkan nih bendera One Piece, kagak ada bendera Indonesia 17 Agustus. Justru ini kan teguran ya untuk pemerintah.
So one last thing I do want to show is a report from The Guardian, because it gives an interview from across the globe that gives some good context.
Flag has been popping up all over the place. It's from this anime, One Piece, where the flag is carried by a band of pirates that stand up to corrupt and repressive rulers.
Dreams greater than they'd ever dared to imagine.
Why is this flag resonating in so many places?
This franchise is huge, so it's a symbol that is very easily recognizable and understood by people, especially young people.
Last weekend, it was flown in protests in the Philippines over allegations that money meant for flood relief projects was siphoned off by officials and contractors.
I think it was first widely used in Indonesia, where deadly mass protests erupted in August, initially triggered by anger over the very generous perks being given to lawmakers, but they were also fueled by much wider dissatisfaction and anger over the economic situation they were facing.
Officials in Indonesia didn't like that. One lawmaker said the flag was an attempt to divide national unity. Another said displaying it could amount to treason. And have authorities been targeting people for using it?
There were instances or reports of flags being confiscated by the military or by the police, of murals being taken down, people who displayed the flags being questioned, or also allegations of violence against people who were showing the flag. And this actually prompted Amnesty to come out and tell the government to stop this crackdown and to respect people's freedom of expression.
And it's not the first time pop culture iconography has been utilised in moments of protest. Experts say a defensive response risks fueling their power.
Interesting.
I forgot about the
V for Vendetta. Yeah, that's why I kind of like that final clip. That resonated with me too, Doug.
Well, you got to think about there's like the Joker. I mean, there was that instance
Oh
like a
my
few
God,
years
the
ago.
Joker
You know,
did start a little.
there has
bit.
been like a lot of pop culture references used in protesting in recent years, where like the younger generation with a mistrust for the institutions today have kind of gravitated towards them. You know,
No, it's true.
V for Vendetta is actually one of like the first ones, I'd say.
Oh, and again, talk about really making an impression. That became a whole movement. Anonymous still kind of impacts the political landscape. So first, let's kick it off. I want to get your guys' thoughts. I mean, the scene across the world is clear. It's large. It's, you can't hide from it. It's also become in the face of kind of like the Gen Z movement. It's more of a generational thing. So I guess I want to flip it to you, because to me, I am more of the older boomer millennial perspective. I've never seen this show. So I see just a pirate flag. I see, but this is a cool scene, right? Like rebellion that's called upon, the people taking their own country. And then here's the Nepali palace, and the flag is just, so let me ask you, you laugh because to me, it is very unserious. Like I see literally a cartoon skull.
Yeah, no, that's
so
why I am laughing.
what is the symbol that it, or is this also a joke? Is this just like they're rallying behind a meme? Is this actually a message? Because that's how it reads.
What they're actually rallying around is something they truly believe in. And I understand why they use the Jolly Roger flag. It's funny for me because it's like, again, you don't really, like, I know you mentioned it's kind of here, but like the media really here isn't highlighting it. I could see why it's freaking them out over there, because One Piece started over there. It's bigger culturally probably over there for a longer period of time before it came to the West. Now it's blown up in the West, but it's like what the Straw Hat Pirates essentially what I love about Monkey D. Luffy, and I think what these kids really like is, again, we know what these institutions and these oligarchs are doing. They're trying to slowly strip away your freedoms in various ways, whether subtly or very not so subtly. And Monkey D. Luffy is literally the definition of dream big. If you want it, you could do it. You could live that. The idea of freedom is not only attainable, but something that should be your right, your God-given right, and something you can choose to do. The pirates in One Piece choose to be pirates because they want to live outside of the barriers that the world government kind of instills upon them. And that's what makes it like, I totally get why they would rally around the Jolly Roger flag. For me, why I find it funny is just like, wow, this is what it's kind of come to. Like these young kids are rallying around the Straw Hat Pirates. Like, for instance, Monkey D. Luffy's power is the gum gum fruit. It literally causes him to stretch. He is incapable of being contained in a barrier.
Well, actually, Will, you haven't gotten there yet, but spoiler, that's not really his power. His power is actually even better. And he's a warrior of liberation, freeing all those oppressed around the world.
So there's like more to it. Yeah. But like the idea of like what Luffy is, like his character is a perfect embodiment of like just that like whole freedom aspect to it. And like, I don't know much about the Indonesian politics. I don't know much about like what particularly is happening over there, but it's something like, I mean, we've talked about the UK for considerable amount of time on this show, and it's like you're seeing it there where they're rebelling against like this kind of restriction against their freedoms in their country. And it's like,
You know what's funny in the UK though? I would expect the V for Vendetta more there than
I'm sure, yeah.
You know, but like if I wouldn't be surprised if they started doing it over there too.
yeah, you know, and that's kind of the thing. The reason why you're not seeing it so much there is at the end of the day, most people know in this country you have so many freedoms that the ones you say are being restricted. It's like, no, you still have them. The real ones being talked about being restricted are the ones worthy of having a conversation. But it's like the people over there, I'm sure, live in great poverty or like barely have any money to them and stuff. And it's like the government's consistently restricting them. And two, like again, the world government in One Piece, it's like it's beneficial to the wealthy. So like the pirates in that show like to steal from the wealthy, kind of like that. So that's kind of what I think is.
Well, and then also like a big thing, Luffy wants to be king of the pirates, and his reasoning is because being king of the pirates means you're more free than anyone else.
Right.
Okay, so let me ask you guys a question. I'm going to read this prompt that was posted on Reddit. I want to get your guys' opinion on it because, again, I haven't watched One Piece. It seemed like a pretty sophisticated breakdown, and I thought it was interesting to consider. I really hate how One Piece tackles the theme of revolution, which would be in contrast to this whole movement across the world that's using it as a symbol of revolution. For a series that talks so much about revolt and rebellion, I really hate how poorly it tackles such a complex theme for a few but major reasons. I don't need to rehash the repetitive formula of straw hats arriving at an island conveniently as shit is about to go down, and then they end up beating, but that is possibly the worst way to tackle revolution. The Straw Hats, and more specifically Luffy, are always liberators of the people who they have nothing to do with. The people who have been oppressed for so long are rarely the ones to actually free themselves from the shackles of the oppressive regime or tyrant, but instead, the chosen one is the one to swoop in and save the day. After Wano,
It's an R later on.
After Wano, Oda has quite literally made Luffy be the one to be hero of all and the savior that people are waiting for as they just endure and never actually do anything to change their situation. Elbaf.
That's the newest arc.
Elbaf has taken this quite further by revealing a prophecy where the sun god will emerge victorious in the third world. So yeah. Now, I will say that I do like that across most arcs, the people do at least hold some rebellious fire within them, except for Wano. And when they find out that they're being oppressed, they stand up. But that genuinely amounts to shit because they can never fight themselves. Their efforts amount to nothing in the end because Luffy will be the one that takes down the big bad guy. So when One Piece presents itself as this big narrative about freedom and revolution, it does kind of cheapen the concept by making it about individual heroism rather than collective struggle. Another thing I really hate is that every time, and I don't like how much this person, don't hate so much, guy. But anyway, like, come on.
I mean, I already have so many opinions about the way this guy's kind of going about it. But
that's why I want to hear. Another thing I really hate is that every time the Straw Hats save the people and leave, the people simply go from the current status quo to the previous status quo. I get that Oda has to move on to the next arc, but simply filling the power vacuum by transitioning to another monarchy is just so lazy and only concerns itself with the fighting aspect of revolution and not what comes after it. Like, seriously, maybe have the people realize that the past system failed and was weak and led to their oppression. Maybe set up means to prevent such failures or arm yourself to never be that weak again. But honestly, that's just a byproduct of the series never really bothering to only have the characters think about fighting the big bad. Is it the big bad?
It's just that
okay.
It's a villain of the arc scenario.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's what it would be.
Because I keep wanting, my brain wants to put the big bad guy. The big bad.
There is,
and,
but like in certain arcs, it's a certain individual or it might be multiple individuals.
And not actually having a plan for effective rule afterwards. Last bit here. Honestly, all these issues would be gone if the series actually gave some focus to the actual group fighting against the WG.
World government.
Thank you. Boom. We are told that they are freeing slaves, arming the people, and trying to undo the propaganda, but all those things are supposed to be shown if you want a story about revolution. You can't off-screen all that goodness in favor of having pirates who could care less about liberating people who actually do the revolution, the Rev's job for them. Last paragraph. That's 2 sentences. Between the Straw Hats doing the actual liberating or Vegapunk being the one to expose the truth about the world government, I really don't understand why the story is trying so hard to undermine the efforts of Dragon and the Revs, much less by people who don't care about the cause at all. It pains me that the story is in the final saga, and with each arc, we get Zilk from the people who actually embody such a core theme of the manga. This is eating at Will, so I want to hear your thoughts.
I think this dude fundamentally misunderstood what the point of One Piece is, and he wrote a lot of word salad to just be like, why isn't this about... Dude, watch Attack on Titan. Go if you want something talking about like getting rid of past changes and past hate and all that and revolution, go watch a different show. This is about One Piece. It's about finding the One Piece and Monkey D. Luffy becoming king of the pirates. What does he want? He wants Luffy to go to every island and be like, all right, here's a new government. Here's what you're going to do. And here's how it's going to be. And I'm going to come back soon. We're going to see what a dork. What a doorknob.
Doug, what do you got?
So Will's again, another spoiler for Will, but in the Elbath arc, the most current arc, we get a look at an ancient mural that explains the coming of 3 worlds. So there's the first original world, and it was destroyed in war. Then there was a second world, and that was destroyed in war. And then now we're in the 3rd world. And in each one, there's a character named Nika, who's like the sun god, the god of liberation. And so he's saying like, oh, you don't have, he's not explaining stuff. It's like, dude, he just explained how the world's been at war and has fallen 2 times, and that this 3rd world was predicted. So it's like he's given a lot of shit in this new one.
Yeah, I'm with Doug on that. Like, I haven't gotten there yet, obviously, and I care less if things are getting spoiled at this point. But it's more like, for me, it's like there's 1,180 episodes, and this kid's like, dude, you're not explaining enough. You're a doorknob. Get off Reddit. Watch a different show. Touch grass. Oh my god, that dude's super fun at parties. That dude is super fun at parties. That's like Evangelion isn't an against the other anime kind of anime. All right, this guy's fun. Bring it back. Like that was so much word salad for. Well, this show's not really about revolution, like they make it sound to be, because it's a pirate show and he goes island to island trying to be king of the pirates. He just happens to help people along the way. It's not that deep. It's a shonen,
he's
dude.
Building allies who feel the same way about him and fulfilling a prophecy of a revolution.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's a shonen anime. Relax. It's not that deep. If what's crazy is for One Piece, it's really deep. But at the end of the day, it's not that deep, dude. The dude's got rubber limbs. He's just having some fun.
I fully agree with your position, except for the position that it's not that deep, because it is kind of that deep when people are able to take an anime. Like, yeah, it's just an anime, but now it's become bigger than just an anime.
It's not. It's still just an anime. These kids are just trying to find something to rally behind. It's like the Joker. It's like the V for Vendetta. Like V for Vendetta isn't real. The idea of what it is real.
The Guy
It's
Fawkes
like,
If you're going to deny that the Guy Fawkes symbol has gotten bigger than V for Vendetta, then that's an inaccurate statement.
But I give that more credence than I do the Jolly Roger flag from One Piece.
Sure.
I don't
maybe. I think there's a significant amount of people in this crowd that have never once turned on that cartoon.
I guarantee you majority of them have.
Yeah, over there.
I would say we could guarantee you the majority of them have.
I'm sure.
I'm not trying to like crap.
No. I'm sure a good chunk of them have. There's people with fire in their hand that have never turned on that cartoon that are waving that flag.
I would say the ones with the fire in their hand probably have, but like that's fine. But the thing is like Guy Fawkes, there's more of like a literal idea of like being against. I don't see that flag and think, oh, that's a flag for revolution and revolving. It's like no, that's Luffy and the gang, and that's going to be the future king of the pirates flag. I don't immediately like I see Guy Fawkes and I see V for Vendetta, and I'm like, oh, that's active revolution. I don't even think of the movie first. I see that and I think like, oh, that's the pirate hunting flag crew, Monkey D. Luffy. I could see why people would use it for that. I get why the symbolism would reflect that.
Yeah.
That's not like my immediate mind goes to that. And this is coming from an individual who's only 420 episodes into a 1180 episode show. Doug, I mean, maybe.
I'm up to date on all the episodes, and I could say I agree with you, Will. I think I look at it and I go, oh, cool, Luffy's flag. I think it's funny, but we're like, it's just not big enough here. I think that we'd see that too often around here. I mean, maybe, but like,
and for them, that's like
for freedom and all that. So I kind of get it, but I do laugh that that's become a flag.
I see more of freedom when I see that flag than revolution against the government.
Well,
that's the thing. But like, I guess I could see why one goes kind of hand in hand with the other.
Yes, they definitely do.
But I don't. But
Barney flag. If I had a Barney flag, Barney is not instilling the message of freedom or revolution or Elmo.
But when I see Guy Fawkes' flag, I think more of revolution than freedom.
Or if I see
like,
it
I
upside
see it more
down,
that way. But
upside down
hand
American
in hand,
flag.
like I could see why the kids over there are doing it and using it because it's like everybody knows it. I mean, especially over there. I'm telling you, over there, they all know what that flag is. Over here, it's like, sure, that's that weird anime my buddy keeps telling me to watch. It's like 1,000 episodes in. Over there, it's like, no. Their parents know Luffy. They know so much about Luffy because that's like their SpongeBob SquarePants.
Interesting.
Hey, Will, was I your friend trying to get you to watch it?
You and like 5 others. Funny enough, I'll give you the credit. You succeeded. But the other, but like that's why when like you notice me laughing, it's like, no, it is a big deal. Like it is like captivating to these, not even captivating, motivating to these kids. But when I see it, I see a meme. Like when I'd be like, oh, remember when the Joker movie came out a few years ago? And people are like, oh, revolution and all fight back. And it's just like, it's Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, guys. It's not necessarily that deep. I can see why people would take it that way, but it's like the Guy Fawkes thing is like, I think less of like the actual events of like V for Vendetta and just know like I see it, I'm like, revolution. More so than like, remember the 5th of November. Like that sticks out to me more. I see the Jolly Roger flag and I start getting the One Piece theme song. That comes to my head more. When I see her V for Vendetta, I think of remember the 5th of November, even before the movie. Funny enough, that's how more impactful I view the Guy Fawkes thing as like a revolutionary symbol.
That mask didn't exist.
Exactly.
Guy Fawkes was a guy.
Guy Fawkes was a guy.
Then the movie was created, which had a mask.
And it's about literal revolution. This is kid wants to be king of the pirates.
Well, but where the line got grayed, and so you did a great job of explaining kind of the nuance to the comedic element to it for you. But in the opening description from both you and Doug, you both described it as a story of revolution. That like one where we got off the beaten path was this guy's remarks. But in your response to this guy, it was what he's missing is that the whole story is him meeting all these people and creating a revolution across the whole arc. And so I guess what I think happens is over the course of 1,200 episodes, there's so many side quests, side characters, outside stories.
And it's like majority of the show.
That's the whole story. Yeah. That the overarching umbrella isn't as prominent as a one movie 3 hours long. Like we keep comparing it to V for Vendetta. This is 1 hour or one movie, 3 hours long, and the entire thing is about fighting back against an Orwellian oppressive government. Mm-hmm. Like it's literally that. Guy puts on this mask and is fighting the government and rallying the people in a revolution. This clearly is a cartoon that is nowhere near that type of revolutionary story. But I guess what I was trying to understand is this a nuanced like theme of revolution? You know, you're saying the flag means freedom. So here comes the freedom ship that comes on each shore and makes new allies and meets new friends and some new bad guys. But is the overarching story like uniting people, or is this really just a meme? Kids, like it could be Pokemon.
I think it's a
it
bit
could
more of a
be
meme.
Pikachu.
I'm kind of with you on that. I think it's a bit more of a meme, but it's one where they could justifiably say why they're using it. Meaning, if like they went out there with like a banner of Pikachu, they'd be
Right.
like, no one's going to take it serious enough. But it's like, at least then like the government's looking in, and they're like, oh, what's this really mean? And it's like, if you really got behind closed doors, it's like, dude, it's a kid who's made of rubber, who just wants to be king of the pirates, and then like kind of gets caught up in this revolution because his dad's a revolutionary, like along the line. But like Luffy, he never has ever, at least 420 episodes into me, has ever struck me like he wants to be a revolution leader. Like he's just more like, no, I want to be king of the pirates.
He just
so I can
stands
literally
up
be free.
for what's right. You know?
And for him, it's like standing up for what's right. But he's never really come off of it like, oh, we need to rise up against the suppressors. He's just more like, hey, what's that guy doing? Why is he picking on
And
that guy? That's
honestly-
mainly Luffy.
And Will, honestly, if they wanted revolution, they'd be flying the revolutionary flag, his
Right.
dad's flag, not the One Piece flag.
Interesting.
That's the thing. It's like there's so many different flags in there. That's why when I see Luffy's flag, I kind of laugh because I'm like,
Oh yeah.
that's not, I guess, necessarily the right flag, but it's the most recognized. People know that flag. Like people, like you saw it and you're like, hey guys, it's One Piece, and it's like they're kind of using it right. They're not really using it right. That's why when that guy did that like plethora of novel, I was like, dude, just watch Attack on Titan. There's so much more symbolism for like actually revolution against oppressive governments in it, and especially like secret shadow governments in it, where it's like, oh, that's actually like really like, yeah, you're kind of onto something there. And then he's just going off about One Piece. I'm like, dude, if you're 1180 episodes in, you've watched enough anime. It's a shonen, guy. This is like Goku. What are we doing here? It's not so.
1,200 episodes in, there's way too much revolution going on off screen.
But there's not enough attention going on to the revolution.
Yeah.
It's like the show's not even over. Like, what is happening here?
Well, it's just like, how much more do you want?
But like for these kids using it as like their symbol, it's like, no, I do get it, because it's like, look over like the last 20, 30 years. You've seen pop culture references since Guy Fawkes started it 30 years ago with V for Vendetta coming on, and then these are just the next generations of kids, and they're using One Piece.
Right.
You know, and so that's truly how I kind of internalize it. It's hard for me to not look at it and think of a meme, but at the same time, I see the photos, and it's like immediately when I see them, I'm like, oh, that looks like Portland. Like, that's great, you know, but it's like, that's actually, from what I can tell and looked into, an oppressive government against these people, and they're sick of it.
Right. So one that I also wanted to, you had shown him off to me.
Which one?
What's the problem is, oh, you know what? I'm just going to share my screen. That's what we'll do. It'll be quicker. No, it isn't a One Piece character, but there's another symbol that's going around that I'm seeing quite a bit on TikTok now. So Will and I went to the mall, a couple weeks ago. And as we were walking through, the thing that kept standing out to me is that there was One Piece in literally every store. Like, this is taking over.
I did enjoy that. At first, I walked in we went in the Hot Topic real quick, and immediately I was like, dude, where's Luffy? And Alex looked at me like, what? I was like, he's here. He's definitely here. And it was like a whole row of Luffy's. By the third store, Alexander, I think, was on a Luffy hunt himself too, quietly, because he'd see him and he's like, he's right here.
It was literally in every store. It was fascinating that, like, stores that had no link to each other in terms of, like, this is a clothing store, this is a niche candle store, just literally everything had One Piece. And, you know, we go in FYE, and in the anime corner, there's also this character that I have yet, you know, to really learn about. Them, like, ninja soldier guy that you said you recognized. What's this? Do you know what this dude's name is?
No.
Definitely in FYE you said his name. But he's become an American, like, One Piece symbol. And here.
Yeah.
I got to figure out what this is called because I thought you would have recognized it. Fuck. What? Anyway,
What did you Google to look him up? Continue talking. I'll look
he
into it.
fights Nazis. So I literally just searched anime soldier Nazi fighter. But this guy has now, I mean, they're selling shirts of him. There was this girl, I come across this TikTok this week, and she goes, I'm selling shirts with him on him. And I just want to say, if I find anybody in my comments and their profile picture is this guy, we are friends. And it's just like, all the comments were like, yeah, we love you now. You just got to follow, blah, blah. If
I think it's from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's another anime. It kind of links between seasons, but like each individual, it's kind of like American Horror Story. It's kind of like American Horror Story, but like there's more of a direct link between seasons.
So, we really do need to boom. GI Robot. That's it. GI Robot is the dude. Yeah.
Let me look into this guy.
GI Robot.
Oh, never mind. He's a comic book character from the DC universe.
DC?
Yeah. GI Robot is a military android from the DC universe, originally created to fight Nazis in World War II alongside Easy Company. After the war, he was studied by Dr. Will Magnus and later became part of the Creature Commandos,
Oh, the
team
Creature
assembled by
Commandos.
Amanda Waller. I recognize that name.
That's the HBO anime of like their Suicide Squad spinoff.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a hot topic here.
Go for it.
The Y in the road is the One Piece flag versus this soldier.
GI Robot.
Yeah, GI Robot. If this is your revolutionary symbol, you're on the opposite side of me.
I see.
If you have the One Piece symbol, and it's not because he's a Nazi fighter, it's because you're psychotic, arguably with an extra chromosome. You don't have it. You still haven't figured out which chromosomes you have. And because of that, your autism has made you have chosen to be an ideological enemy of logic. And the One Piece revolution is a uniting factor across the globe. And that uniting thread being logic. I would imagine the Indonesian people throwing a Molotov cocktail wouldn't struggle too hard on the number of genders there are.
Yeah.
And that's what makes these people my people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's
and
why
not these folks.
That's why when you bring up like the flag, it's like, no, I get why they'd use it. I look at it kind of like how the same way I'd look at the people that you have a GI Robot. Like I kind of like laugh and like it's kind of a meme in and of itself. But it's like, at least with the one, like the Jolly Roger flag, it's like, no, I get what it means to people. I get why they could internalize it that way and feel that power and that passion for it. I look at the GI Robot one and no, yeah, I do. I kind of look at it and be like, oh, okay, what's up with you? That's the route you're thinking of taking. I don't even know anything about that character or that show. And it's like, that seems a bit much.
Yeah.
That seems a bit much.
just a little bit. All right, so let's get into our wrapping thoughts here as we conclude. Here's where we land. A cartoon pirate flag is flying higher in some corners of the world than the actual national flags. That says something about the hunger for rebellion, especially among Gen Z. They're searching for symbols that cut through corruption, dishonesty, and broken systems. And right now, One Piece is filling that void. But let's not miss the warning here. If young people are willing to rally behind an anime because it represents freedom and unity, it's because they don't see those values reflected in their own governments or sometimes even in their own country's leadership. The symbol may be entertaining, even silly on the surface, but the message underneath it is deadly serious. They don't trust the system and they're looking for something new. And that's the big takeaway. We can laugh at the pirate flags, sure. But if we're not offering the next generation real hope, real leadership, and real principles worth defending, then they'll keep chasing the cartoons. And sooner or later, those cartoon flags become the only flags that matter. Do you have any other wrapping thoughts you want to add on this whole anime breakdown?
Not particularly. I think that was like a good kind of like finish you did there. It's like, that's the thing. It's like, I think a lot of these young people we've seen in our country, and obviously now we're seeing it across the world, have kind of lost faith in the morals, values, and leadership in their country. And, you know, I could kind of laugh at it kind of as a meme on its own, right? Thinking it's kind of funny and quirky, but you know what? When you watch this show, I mean, the Straw Hat Pirates definitely have morals, values, and like a definite defining leadership qualities, and like Luffy and what they are about. So I could see why young, aimless people would rally behind it.
Fair. Doug, any wrapping thoughts?
Well, no, because between you and Will, I think you guys just nailed it on my view.
Good. As the in-house One Piece anime fan, that means we did it. So, moving on to our next topic here, let's go to the sand people. Considering Saudi Arabia and the Riyadh, I've heard it in a million different ways because we're Americans speaking sand language, but we're going with the Riyadh Comedy Festival. Look at all these hot stars that sold out their good old America to go perform and monkey dance in front of Saudi Arabian royalty. So this has been a bit of a controversy across the American landscape because some comics took the high road and American prestige and turned down the millions of dollars, while other comedians who have never shied away from shilling out jumped at the opportunity. So before we kind of get into, I mean, it's ridiculous as Saudi Arabia is buying our entire government or our entire entertainment landscape. It is creepy when you start seeing, like, you know, I mean, this is a legit festival.
That
Looks
looks
pretty,
awesome.
Doesn't it? I mean, a comedy festival is a comedy festival.
Where was it in this? Oh yeah, Abu Dhabi,
Saudi Arabia.
No. But like you said, like Abu Dhabi, like that area is really nice, but then like the rest of the country is like not so nice.
Oh
Do you
yeah.
think that's what we're seeing right here? Kind of.
Oh,
like
I'm
that,
sure.
Like,
Well, because again, you got to remember, Saudi Arabian money is like, it's just rich oil money because the rest of you are slaves.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the handful of folks that live a lifestyle our billionaires couldn't imagine.
Right.
They're literally living king-like. It is king existences.
godlike.
Yeah, boom. Like Egyptian godlike existences on the backs of these enslaved people. But who cares? We got Dave Chappelle spilling it out for us. I mean, this is goofy, dude. And
why is it being filmed like this?
Exactly.
Trailer, you know,
these promos are so weird looking. You know, here again, there's also Dave Chappelle entering. But again, Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, we're talking about folks that never shied away from shilling out before.
An amazing show, an amazing crowd. More importantly, just amazing people. Thank you guys for allowing me to come, hosting me at the highest level, of course. But get used to me because you're stuck with me now. So, Your Majesty, Your Highness, me, you, friends, you here next time. Handshakes in person, no video, hugs, all the cool stuff. See that? That's how you know when I'm happy. All right? See you later.
It isn't as funny anymore when he's like King Shill.
Yeah.
Like the jokes don't hit like they used to.
It's like The Rock in his movies. It's like I've just sort of lost like the kind of like,
yes.
you know.
And they're the same human.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're the same. Just like one
career wise. Yeah, exactly. The mini me of each other.
Oh my God. They wouldn't do it, but they should make that movie.
Ooh.
You know,
the next Austin Powers. Boom, dude.
I'm just saying, hey,
they're
guys,
doing it again. We got ideas. Pay us.
Yeah.
We will shill out like Qataris. But it is funny. This money, of course, makes a Kevin Hart or a Dave Chappelle dance. But for it to get a Chris Tucker out of the closet and dust off the cobwebs.
What's up,
Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. I'm on my way. Your boy Chris Tucker is on his way.
The other two, you know, he's down on the totem pole of the Saudis though, because the other two put his hands in the sand, did a full video. This dude,
He's filming from Philadelphia, just like, hey guys, I'm on my way.
and then he does his Michael Jackson impersonation, and Jackie's gonna be there. You know, it's just kind of like, oh my god.
Oh, dude.
But you know what? Hey, for Chris Tucker, good for you. This is probably the only thing he's gonna have to do for 5 years.
Tucker is on his way. I'll see you soon.
Oh, he hasn't left. Okay, we were right.
Riyadh, where you at?
Where you at, man? I just love you. You've been at it. You don't realize the world has evolved since 1999 Rush Hour.
Rush Hour 3 was a long time ago.
The kids call it cringe, Chris. They call it cringe.
He's unk status now. I don't think you know what that meant.
Status. I don't know what that means, man. So
he answered the phone. He was like, $50 million.
That's going to be a key thing revolving around our consideration and dialogue today. The amount of money given to these people. So diving into it, we've had mixed reactions. So, of course, all of the shills that took the Saudi oil cash, they're like, why wouldn't you do this? This only makes sense. What's interesting is hearing from the comedians that didn't go. Some of them, because they're just cold-blooded Americans that love Bud Light, and I don't sell out to 9/11 murderers. And then there's others that were like, they're a bunch of shills, but I also wasn't invited. Mark Maron. So
He wasn't?
no,
Good.
but I got to give it to Mark. He is it's a fun one. So let's get into some of the impressions that we got from comics rising out of this situation. First and foremost, obviously the one that the conversation revolves around the most, Shane Gillis, somebody that's become the face of like top tier A-list comedy, who was highly sought after by this comedy festival. But he turned it down. Millions.
It was it's funny. They just went to the desert and just.
They were asking me to go to the Middle East soon.
What? What? Where? Why?
Saudi Arabia and UAE or Dubai.
Dubai.
I think I'm gonna pass.
Yeah. For the troops? Is it for the troops?
Not for the troops.
What?
It's for the Saudis.
For the Saudi princes?
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Yeah, you should do it." Everyone's doing it. It's like for Saudis.
Yeah.
I thought it was the 9/11 guys.
Oh my God.
Aren't they exactly the 9/11 guys?
It was
Aren't
Iran,
those exactly?
Yeah. It's all been Iran this whole time.
Convenient.
Iran.
I love that he holds true. Aren't those exactly the 9/11 guys? And then the one comedian whose dad was a firefighter and died in 9/11, Pete Davidson's like, write me my check. Where's my oil money? I'm there. So it's like Shane Gillis had more chip on his shoulder, pride to not go perform than Pete Davidson did.
Yeah. Well, Pete Davidson did tell us he crashed his car into a house last year. So maybe
He
that's
did.
why.
Yes, he did concede that too. So we do know what we're dealing with. Before I do want to do a breakdown of the comedians who did end up going. But as far as great takes, you tell me. I don't know. Did he go? He didn't. I can't tell. But here's Tim Dillon getting called in by the Legion of Skanks. So it's Dave Smith and Louis J. Gomez in a call, like they're calling in Tim Dillon. It's perfect.
Actually doing that Saudi Arabian comedy festival, or was that just like a Photoshop?
No, of course I am. Everyone should be doing it. Everyone should be getting every dollar they can. This has been my consistent position for my entire life. And, I mean, I don't care if they execute half the comments in front of me. Wanted $500,000. They wouldn't do it. They gave me $375,000. I said, I'll do it. It's exactly on my show what I got paid to do it, and why I'm supporting the regime, the Saudis, Wahhabism,
private jet?
Oh yeah, what's the accommodations?
And the accommodations, they're dope, right?
I'm staying in the ranch where they tied everybody up.
So, you know,
Is he doing it?
No, he is.
I was like, there's no way.
Great bit. It's a great bit.
It is a good bit.
After he had some issue, he was supposed to go to Abu Dhabi. He made some jokes. Abu Dhabi was like, tell him to apologize or don't come. And he's like, I'm not going to come. So after that just happened, he made jokes on Joe Rogan that had it pulled. I think he's like, I'm going to stay away from the sand for a while. I'm going to hang out here. We've gotten a good flavor of like the modern comedians, but it's also interesting hearing from like core old head comedy. So here's David Spade. He has a podcast with Dana Carvey, and the two of them had some acknowledgments about this big comedic payday.
Comedy festival in Riyadh, is that a place?
In Saudi Arabia.
So the comics that are going are getting a little blowback. There's arguments you shouldn't go there for this. Obviously, they're overpaying everyone. I've heard numbers. It's juicy on that front. What are your thoughts?
Sure, I turned down $2 million for 10 minutes, but am I a higher angel? Can I look down on the ones? No, I didn't get.
They gave me the offer was $3 million not to go. They go,
and
we
you're
would
going
to ruin it. I did get an offer about this. For me, it was a couple things, but I would say the Southwest flight there is too much. You have to stop
I
in
don't
Houston.
like to fly enough to go halfway around the world. They had comedians back in the Middle Ages. Hey, you're going to do the Attila the Hun thing. You get like 4,000 horses and 200 dancing women. I don't know.
I am. I'm not even political. I'm just going to go.
I mean, Attila, I guess when you meet him, he's kind of a nice guy.
Attila the Hun Comedy Fest.
I just love that comparison of Attila the Hun. Yeah, when you meet him, he's a nice guy. You got to walk past all the pikes with heads, but it's a good payday. And, you know, I love David Spade. I'm not very political, so to me, it's just a gig. You know, I'm going to go. These are the people that did 9/11. But, again, that's neither here nor there. So...
and so on brand for Shane Gillis to immediately go to that. Like, without even thinking, like, then y'all... I'm good.
I'm good. Now, a more inquisitor of the political science persuasion is Theo Vaughn. You know, he tends to just put it so eloquently.
How do you guys feel about this Saudi Arabian Comedy Festival? There's been a lot of like talk about this recently. Are they limiting what you guys can say? Have you heard anything about it yet?
That one I haven't heard much about.
And then later he goes. So he plays the funny part about this clip is he just plays dumb about it and he ends up going.
Was he playing?
It's that special time of year. It's the Riyadh Comedy Festival. And all of your favorite comedians are performing at the pleasure of Turki Al-Sheikh. And he is the head of the entertainment authority over there. And he has so many people thrown in prison because they tweeted stuff he didn't like about the soccer team or whatever, that there's a wing of a prison nicknamed after him where they hang people by their heels from the ceiling. Now, there's a lot of drips, killjoys, and dweebazoids who are saying, oh, they shouldn't do comedy over there because it's whitewashing a regime that just in June killed a journalist and killed Jamal Khashoggi and played a big role in 9/11. Shut up. Name one comedian who hasn't lured themselves out to a dictator. Sinbad in the 80s would go perform for dying Nazis hidden out in Argentina. Mr. Bean would do private shows for Idi Amin. Me and Bibi Netanyahu have collaborated. I pitched him a prank show called The West Bank, where it's hilarious. Like, people in masks show up and eject people from their homes, and they're terrified. They just traumatize these families, and then they can never come home. Pretty good. And it's been going on for years, but this season has been like action-packed. And it's a prank show, but there's also a true crime element because it violates international law and people have been killed a lot. Let's not get our, moral panties yanked up, wedged high in our rumps. Human Rights Watch has been begging the comedians not to participate in the whitewashing of the horrors that are ongoing in Saudi Arabia. Ugh, what a cock block Human Rights Watch is for comedy. Let's have some fun, let's have some yucks, and let's not look too closely at anything. I'm a hypocrite too.
That was Zach Woods. I thought that was at least a pretty fun take. Now, as someone that shares the same eye-rolling grief every time I hear the name Mark Maron, I have to say his take did leave me laughing a little bit.
There's a Riyadh Comedy Festival. I don't know if you heard about that. This is true. There's a Riyadh, Saudi Arabia Comedy Festival. I mean, how do you even promote that? You know, like from the folks that brought you 9/11, 2 weeks of laughter in the desert. Don't miss it. I mean, the same guy that's going to pay them is the same guy that paid that guy to bonesaw Jamal Khashoggi and put him in a fucking suitcase. But don't let that stop the yucks. It's going to be a good time. Full disclosure, I was not asked to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival, so it's kind of easy for me to take the high road on this one. Easy to maintain your integrity when no one's offering to buy it out, you know?
No, it's really funny. You know, easy to keep your integrity when no one's trying to buy it out. But there is a real moral consideration that we can have here, because they're not just buying it out by offering you an exchange. It's an overwhelming exchange that it outprices what normally the trade should be. So I got
Alex real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's almost like they're trying to do what they did for Live Golf. Take all of our golfers.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're definitely
Yeah.
getting there. So as far as I got two just like commentators I found on TikTok, two people I'd like to hear or add to the commentary. First is this Alex Falcone, and he makes a really interesting point about the overselling of your job or what you normally would sell this product or service for.
Glad the Riyadh Comedy Festival is finally getting some mainstream attention because it is so crazy. A group of very well-known comedians doing a comedy festival for the government of Saudi Arabia. And looking at this lineup, I guess I'm disappointed in two of them, maybe three. The rest of them, this is pretty much on brand. Bill seems better than this. Hannibal, maybe. Zarna.
No, he doesn't.
That's it. Nobody saw the poster and was like, wow, a rare miss for Louis C.K. But there are two things about the festival I think everybody is missing. And the first is about the money. Yes, I'm glad Kevin Hart is finally getting a decent paycheck. But every sane person knows there's an amount of money someone could offer you that is actually too much. Like, it's so much money, it's really scary. Like, if you find $20 on the street, great day. But if you find a paper bag with $20,000 in it under a park bench, don't touch that bag. You didn't see shit. If you take that money, you're gonna die. I don't care what job you do. If somebody offers you 10 times your normal rate to do that job for them, their business is crime. And number two, the danger here is not a joke. Comics have been rationalizing this away like, yeah, they unalived a journalist 2 months ago for his tweets, and they did 9/11, but I'm not a journalist or a Twin Tower. But in 2018, the most popular comedian in Saudi Arabia was disappeared because his wife drove a car. And he's back, but she's still missing. Even if your empathy was broken, you should be worried for yourself. I'm so happy when artists get paid. Like, get that bag, you guys. But sometimes you have to see that the bag is attached by a string to a large cardboard box placed precariously over your head, like a Looney Tunes trap. And in that case, don't touch that bag.
Pretty legit take, in my opinion.
You want to do this, though? Like, it's just a cultural thing there. Like, my jokes work here, and I really worked hard for them to work here. How are they going to know really what's funny? You get what I mean?
Well, and again, okay, let's. Maybe this is the perfect segue to bring it back in. You know, it was funny. He was like, you know, there's a couple people I would have expected more from it, but not everybody. And when he said Bill Burr, you were like, no, I would have expected that from Bill. It is funny. Bill's fall off is so fascinating.
I'm surprised Schultz is going.
Yeah, you would have thought he would have some integrity.
Yeah.
I would have thought Chris DiStefano.
Yes.
Listen, he's somebody that's like, I'm going to try to get as much money as I can right now, and then I'm going to go have a family.
The
like,
dude next to Segura to the right of Segura.
yeah, Sam Morrell. I could see him doing it.
Yeah.
Pete Davidson that killed your dad.
Doesn't care.
Mark Norman doesn't surprise me at all.
Pete Davidson has made his dad dying the butt of his joke for the entirety of his life.
Yeah, it was his whole career.
Yeah.
You know, Sebastian Maniscalco and Fluffy. Those are commercial sellouts like I've ever seen one.
Correct.
Kevin Hart, I would see that 10 times over. What's this guy's name again? I can't remember. The dude in the bottom right corner.
You know what?
He's
He looks
another
like
one.
he'd do it too.
Well, no, he is one that would do it. The fact that you have Santino and Bobby Lee, that was easy. That was easy money. Aziz Ansari. When's
That's
the
the
last
only
time?
job he gets.
Exactly. When's the last time
They're
he's
like,
got
oh my
a
god,
bag?
he was really funny. Why'd he get canceled? That's why. Bring him in.
He's my man. He will fit in quite well here.
Oh, they love what he did.
Oh God. But unfortunately, you're not wrong.
I was like, hey, those are my people. That's what they said.
So it is interesting. Like you look at these guys, it's like, you know, the British guy in the middle. I can't remember his name now.
Yes,
I just was
him,
listening to
yes.
him on
The most posh sounding person.
Yes.
Oh, what's her
He's
name
also
underneath?
very commercial.
Whitney Cummings is going.
She would be a good one too. Oh, that's what I was looking at. I do want to see how much each comedian was paid at the Riyadh Comedy Festival. I'd be curious to see how much of that is public. It's probably going to take a fat minute to load that. So while we kind of get the AI working, one last consideration I want to bring in before we kind of move the dialogue around. Doug's way ahead of me. He's excited. I like where it's going. So let's
about
last
the
video.
Riyadh Comedy Festival and all of the backlash it has provoked is that I bet you the Saudis had no idea it was going to happen like this. You got to think Riyadh season just put on one of the biggest boxing matches of all time. Canelo Crawford on Netflix went off without a hitch. They've been doing boxing forever. UFC, PGA Live, F1. All of these fan bases have just kind of accepted that Saudi money is part of the deal. So of course they thought comedy wouldn't be a problem. But this really shows you the fundamental bridge that still exists between America and the Gulf states.
I want your opinion on this.
Turki al-Sheikh didn't understand that we still hold comedians to a higher standard than athletes. We still see comedians as representatives of free speech and speaking truth to power.
Oh, we're not even there
mean,
yet.
The Saudi funding of American culture is a slippery slope, but it's not slippery enough. They got greedy. If the Saudis really want to buy their way into American culture, they got to go in through college football. Imagine if the Saudis gave $100 million to the Alabama football program, and then the next year they gave $200 million to Auburn, and just alternate back and forth until eventually these fan bases will see the Saudis as kingmakers. Oh, is it going to be our turn to take the blood money? And then, maybe 10 years down the line, you'll have bought in far enough that nobody will even care where the money's coming from. At that point, you can buy all the comedians you want.
What do you think of Dana Harum's Harumi, Harumi?
Real quick, Alex, I feel like we're already there with NIL. Who knows where all this money's coming from?
I think you have.
It's coming from Les Wexner selling kids.
I think you have a pretty decent idea. Okay, I think they noticed if the Saudi money was really coming in.
We don't have that yet.
Yeah.
But what do you think, Will? Do you think the Saudis just need to re-strategize? You think if they pivoted to American college football, they could make a dent?
He correctly said in the order in which they're going. Why not shoot for the stars? What do I got to say against it? Yeah, go for it. Hell, give the Cleveland Indians some money. Why not? Let's compete with them.
Well, and again, shoot for the stars. You're buying everything. So just keep going. Like, just take the whole cake. What's funny is other hitting news this week. Did you guys see how the Saudis just bought Electronic Arts? EA Games. So now they've stepped it up even further.
Yeah, they made EA private.
So here's Pearlmania 500, a guy that we've had here now a couple times. His takes are dead on. Here's what his response was when he heard the news that the Saudis now bought EA video games.
Saudis just bought The Sims?
The Sims. The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Jared Kushner, and a private equity firm are buying Electronic Arts, which means they're going to own Madden. Like, it's crazy. The Saudis just bought WrestleMania. What do they need Dragon Age Origins for? Like, this is insane that nobody can see how bad this is going to be. The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, you might have heard about him from a recent promo vid that Kevin Hart did, calling him a great guy he wanted to hang out with, just bought Electronic Arts, which publishes Madden every year. If it's not you, then your boyfriend is going out and buying the same game every single year. That is now Saudi money. That's going to be Saudi blood money used to bomb Yemen. That dude, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, old Bonesaw himself, got together with who is the son-in-law of the President of the United States. They then partnered up with a private equity company. That private equity company is currently in the middle of spending billions of dollars to purchase a certain video social media app. How they have more money now to purchase Battlefield 1, I have no idea. They all getting together, and they're buying up all these games. A lot of people are getting real mad because they're like, what's this going to do to the content? More importantly, all these games have backdoors to your devices. You play Plants vs. Zombies on your phone in the app, that's connected to their servers. They're pulling data. I was told for the last 3 years we had to ban a certain app because of data privacy concerns. But now the Saudis, who are best friends with Dave Chappelle and own WrestleMania now for some reason, they can just buy whatever. The Saudis can just stroll in.
I love this
and
guy.
go, hey, don't worry about that.
He's wearing an X-Men
Everything's
t-shirt.
good. But we like they're buying up everything that would be interesting to you, so that way they can control it. So you can't create narratives about overcoming crazy people and dictators. And on top of that, they want to have backdoors into everybody's devices. So that way they can figure out whether or not you're mad at them. And then they can stop that shit before it starts. That's how all of this goes. Every single sci-fi book in history has told me this has happened. Most of history has told me this is how it happens. And meanwhile, people are going to keep screaming at me about, I don't know, fucking woke. You're asleep.
You're asleep.
You know, after hearing all that, I don't care that Ohio State's taking Lex Wexner's money. That means absolutely nothing to me now.
It could get way worse.
If anything, I hope we win it again now.
So, all right, Doug's jumping at the bullet. They're buying up golf. They want to have Live Golf take over the PGA. We're making all these quirky, new, weird, fun games to bring attention. We're buying some of the greatest talent in golf, and you've literally taken a tried true league that's been around for 100 years, threw a wedge in it, divided it right down the middle.
You're mad about what? Woke?
Then you go and buy all the comedians. All the comedians are quick to sell out. Let's get an idea of how much it costs. So we were able to crunch the numbers thanks to Grok. And it really wasn't as steep as I think the internet's making it out to be. I was hearing 5, 10 million, all these crazy numbers. You know, Tom Segura, which should shock nobody. Tom Segura is selling us out for $375,000. That's it. That's clown money.
Yeah, seriously. I did. Aside from the top tier, the mid and
Chris
low tier,
Tucker 150 got you to the other side of the planet.
That is so bad. That is so little. I was expecting like 1.5, 750,000, and then 500,000
at the least.
At the least,
man,
this is pathetic.
Right.
This is pathetic. I know
Just so
what's
you
his
could
name.
see.
Gillis is going to bring this up to Schultz when he sees him. He sold out for
100%.
$375,000. I'd have given you $375,000 to not do that.
Seriously.
You know that's what he'd say.
Yeah, which is funny because I got the money to do that.
Yes.
So what are you selling yourself out for this for?
That's unreal.
Didn't it? Doug, it
Unreal.
shared, right? I'm assuming it did. Just real quick, we're gonna. Oh yeah, I turned it off, so you guys saw. Anyway, weird, absolutely weird. So now they bought up golf. They bought up the comedians. They bought up your video games, Sims, Call of Duty. Oh, not Call of Duty. What do you say? Battlefront. Battlefield.
And
well,
actually
Battlefront too.
Yeah. Hey, that was pretty good.
And now, I mean, what else could you buy? What else American pure joy could you take from us? You're gonna go and buy
I've always admired the
Tom
power
Brady?
of flag football, the fastest growing sport in the world, and how it connects fans of all ages. And I want to help continue the global movement and momentum that our game is having. So I'm very excited to announce that I'm coming out of retirement and teaming up with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, Fanatics, OBB Media, and my friends at Fox Sports to launch the
Fox
Fanatics
Sports sold out.
Flag Football Classic, which will bring American football to the Middle East on March 21st, 2026 at Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as part of Riyadh season.
So Mr. Kiss Your Son on the Lips will come out of retirement for flag football.
I'm betting on it. I'm betting on Tom's team. I don't care.
I just now you even bought our Tom Brady. What else is there that's pure, that is untainted by
Shane Gillis.
murder money?
Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis. Bud Light boy.
I just say I know who it is. Shane Gillis.
It is funny though that we can have a self-righteous talks down to America political scientist like Bill Burr that will present himself like this.
States hating other states. You know, people in red states don't like California. People in California don't like Texas. And like somewhere along the line, we missed that it's the United States, and that we're all on the same team. And I wish people had the time to travel more, because the thing that I've learned going to all 50 states and going around the world is like the people that are on this thing, right? Aside from this occasional crazy person, are cool. And all they don't want, a whole mountain of money. They want enough. They want to be happy, and they want to have enough money for food. They want to feel safe. It's a very
Hey, you think he's
simple
donating any
one,
of that
and we
money?
are so divided because of CNN and Fox News that as long as the bullets are going at the countrymen that are wearing the wrong tie, you somehow don't view them as on your team anymore. And it's a really dangerous time. It's really dangerous. And I don't think it's by accident. And I don't understand what they're doing. So I have faith, though, that through things like this and social media, because you've seen it's brought down regimes around, the world, that we can get on the same page. But one of the things I hate the most, people will write things like, I will never forgive people that voted for Trump. And it's just like, well, now you just caused division.
Yeah.
You want to bring them over. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you also just voted for a guy that should have been in a home. He's on his back porch talking to himself. You know what I mean? You also did that. So it's like, we've all made mistakes. And it's just like, it's okay to be like, yeah, hey, I thought the guy was going to do this. Now he's doing that.
It's just funny. He's like, we're the United States. We're all on the same team. Well, you guys are on that team, and I'm on this team. It's just like, you shut the door on. Why won't you assholes get along? I'm not one of you, but why won't you guys figure this out?
This is why I want to talk to people on the subway. Just be like, nah, man, we're good.
No, dude, we did a whole segment on the reactions of Subway videos. I'm not talking to anyone on that subway.
Well, it is funny. Okay, glad we opened that door. Let me humble a liberal New Yorker real quick. You're going to sit there and go, the subway's pretty good. It's not a problem. You got an occasional crazy once in a while. Yeah. And when that mentally augmatic human walks in, dressed like Michael Jackson, trying to stab the local old people on the subway, and because he's on drugs, when he gets restrained by a trained professional who happens to be on the subway, and the choking ends up killing him because he fought and it became a whole scene, and you literally have folks of the black persuasion literally saying, if it wasn't for that guy restraining the stabaholic, we all would have been in grave danger. Thank goodness for him. And he still had to stand a murder trial and is still looked at as an enemy in the public eye. So liberal Bill Burr will be like, it's pretty perfect, except for the occasional one-time problem. And then when that occasional one-time problem comes up and somebody has to intervene, we make them to be they're the bad guy. And so you've created this environment where, we've already harped this on other topics, but when you're, like the Ukrainian girl that met her demise, people won't step in because you've created a system of, it's an occasional once in a while. And if you do something, we're going to call you racist and ruin your entire existence. So people just let the stabaholic stab away. That's my 2 cents on the subway. But you know what? He had a podcast film crew and a cute little microphone on a credit card. Check us out. We're regular.
He also had
We're regular folks.
He also had a trained sniper on that other guy in case he tried to do anything.
And then the one day he goes to Utah, it was a crazy thing. So these guys are hypocrites. It's so bizarre to live in a world where people will give Shane Gillis the side eye for taking a stance like this. But as a person that has done nothing but take stances, liberals love him because they think he's pulling the wool over conservative eyes. He pretends to be conservative, but really they're too stupid. They don't realize he's just making fun of them. And it's like, no, you freaking idiots. The problem is, you forgot what a moderate looks like. Yeah. You don't know what you're so convicted in polarized fascism that you literally forgot what a free thinker that thinks a little bit over here and a little bit over here looks like. Mm-hmm. So here's a guy that will go, I'll take the Bud Light money because I'm drinking Bud Light anyway. It's not some big liberal like, I'm here to save the trannies. Give me the money. I'm the face of Bud Light now. No, I like Bud Light. I thought the whole thing was stupid and it's always been a part of my culture. So let me help bring Bud Light back. Will you go over to the Saudis to perform? No. So look, he knows exactly where his loyalties lie.
In the same boardroom where they got him, like, so there's this Saudi thing. The 9/11 guys? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. And they were like, God, we can't get that details on it.
Yeah, we can't pull it over him. He's on it. He's always on it.
Son of a bitch, he's onto us.
So as far as my wrapping thoughts go, first, before we get to that, I want to ask you guys, there's got to be a dollar amount that gets you to do that. Like we're sitting here and
the top tier, 1.5 million.
You wouldn't do it for 375,000?
No, I
don't buy that.
No. Well, yeah, right now.
That's what I'm saying. But human being. That's what put yourself in these people's shoes. Like the audience member,
the small tour, the small tier.
We the audience member take on this position of like self-righteousness. Like, I can't believe Andrew Schultz would do that. And it's like,
no, but I can't.
Here's your check.
I can sit here and I disagree because I'd look at him and be like, you're going over there for 375,000 and you can't make that here. In this country, you can't make that here. You're going to go over there. Me and you, I would totally be like, yeah, we're going. We haven't made that yet. We're going. For an individual like him, that's like what Shane Gillis is probably thinking. If I was Shane Gillis, I'd be like, you're going over there. You do tours all around the country here. You have your own podcast. You're on my show. If I was Shane Gillis, I'd be like, you go over there, you're losing a stream of income over here. I will hold that against you.
Again,
that's the thing.
Here's the problem.
But in our shoes, individually, you and I, today's shoes, the lowest tier one we just saw. I would, yes.
So let's ground this in something that's more malleable or chewable. Yes, to a person that doesn't make 375,000, that's significant, and to somebody that makes millions, 375 is insignificant. So let's ground it more in something that you can work with. We had Grok tell us 3 tiers, 1.3 million, 750,000 or 500, and then 350,000, right? So you had this spread, and I'm sure it wasn't literally 3 tiers. I'm sure each one was individually negotiated, and we're kind of just getting rough estimates. In a world where Andrew Schultz, let's say, gets offered 375,000, and one stop 3 shows on a weekend in New York gets him 375,000. Well, that's a wash. Why would you do that? If one weekend in New York only gets you 70,000, well, all right, dude. Now you're looking at like 4 times, 5 times what you normally make. I mean, that's pretty significant, but it's not too much. You could, a couple more weekends, you could do that. If one weekend New York got you 15, 25,000, well, now now it's that, what's the ratio? So some of the commentators that we heard today were saying 10x. If somebody walked up to you and just offered you 10x your salary, no matter what tier you're at, that does shift the paradigm a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so even someone like Louis C.K., who is quiet, he doesn't even need to advertise. He's Louis C.K. He's got his own website. He sells directly to the consumer. He's blackballed and literally has his own market. Here's a guy that's like, I could just add a couple more shows and achieve that. But if it's 10x, I could go on a vacation, get treated like royalty, and get this like Middle Eastern experience. I will probably never go back. So I'll always hold on to my project where I went for weeks for the rest of my life. So it's one of those, like, I could also see a worldly person going, how often? One of the highlights of my entire trip was one evening where a billionaire hosted us at his house and did this whole spread and treated us because he was an alumni from our school. So it's one of those, I could see like, ooh, how often am I going to get the royal treatment? And I'm going to get 10x my wage. But if it's 2x and I'm selling out my government, my nation, like there's political implications too. How far do those political implications go if I'm going to go there unscathed? I'm going to get to make my own jokes that I always make fun of American culture, my people, whatever. I mean, the real curious thing is how much do they have to shift their set? Like if their set is very Cleveland, Atlanta, New York City nightclub, how much does that translate to a Middle Eastern speaking country that does understand English, but definitely doesn't understand, what's like traffic on the freeway? They don't have that. Do you have jokes about the line, the giant wall that you're building to put people in? It's goofy.
Well, yeah, that's why I mentioned earlier. It's like, dude, how is our comedy, modern comedy in America, going to translate to their culture? I don't think it does. But if I were to answer that question, the amount of money that would get me over there, I'd have to go up 5 to 6 tax brackets.
Okay.
If you're going to offer me the money, then I'm going to completely sell out. 5 to 6 tax brackets. That's how much you got to offer me.
Right. I can see
which
that.
would be anywhere from 5 to 10 times what I make a year.
Right.
And that's what I'm making currently now. That's when I look at these guys that have so many different avenues of like making money doing what they do. I'm just like, man, when I saw the lowest tier one and I saw some of the people do it, I was like, you can't be serious.
Right.
Like, especially knowing where you're at in your career, it's like, you need the money that bad.
Well, Chris Tucker really doesn't surprise you,
I mean, yeah, it surprises me. Like, why would they be like, bring me Chris Tucker?
Well, right,
like,
that, yes.
and then I'm like, okay.
But him, it's like, yeah, you'd think you'd be valued more, but I wouldn't be surprised. Now, I'm not surprised you need money.
But that's the thing. It's like, I know those individuals are in a tax bracket where it's like, you might have made your yearly salary in a year doing this.
Do you know? Okay, now little inside comedy talk here, but Tom Segura doesn't surprise me at all. That dude is a money whore and sells out his fans for a penny. Just imagine how much it is eating away at Bert Kreischer that he wasn't asked. Because if he was asked, he'd sure should be on that,
Dude,
that
sure
cover.
would have been off the instant he got on the plane.
That's probably why they didn't invite him.
Yeah.
We don't want that much skin, even from men.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I'll invite Bert, but he must wear a suit.
It's like, screw that. I was going to sell out my country, but not for that.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like for like those celebrities, it's like, I can't imagine the amount of money is necessarily, unless it's like you're that desperate for money. But it's like, I looked at the names of them, a majority of them, I'm like, you're all working so consistently. Like I look at like Fluffy or Louis C.K. and be like, you could get a literal residency at Las Vegas if you wanted to.
Easily.
That's how famous you are. And you're selling out for 3 days in Saudi Arabia. Like it does. Like, again, when you come back and you start preaching, in the back of my head, I'm always going to be like, sold out to the Saudis really quickly.
Right.
For you and I to do it, it would literally change our lives. That's the difference. So for me, I could sit here and judge them because it's like, yeah, I'm not being offered with money that will literally, if I got that today, it changed the trajectory of my entire life.
Fair.
For you guys, it's not. It's like I look at Schultz.
Great point.
Like for them, it's like I'm looking at them. It's like, Schultz, you're on Shane Gillis's show. You have your own famous podcast. You do Charlemagne's podcast. You just go on Charlemagne's show. You have your own shows that you do. You really needed this 3-day excursion? Same with you, Bill Burr. Chris Tucker, sure, but then I just look at the Saudis and be like, what? Who really liked Rush Hour 2 here? Like, that's where I'm at. For me, it's like, no. This would change if they called us and said, we want the rethink tank in Saudi Arabia for a weekend. All three of you collectively are making $150,000 each. It would change our lives.
We're going.
It would change all of our lives. Our parents would hate us if we didn't go. And like they would be so mad. If you're making that much money, though, I'm like, no. You did sell out because you're already in a tax bracket we'll probably never touch. And you're like, give me the more money. Give me the more money. And it's like, what, you're going to come back and preach politics in your comedy now?
Ooh.
You know, like Schultz, it's like, dude, I'm going to look at you. I wouldn't completely hold it over your head, but if you got a little too preachy, I'd be like, dude, don't you sympathize with the 9/11ers? Like, they wrote you a check and handed it to you.
And you're the big New Yorker that likes playing victim.
Yes. You know, like I'd be like, dude, I will hold it over to your head so quick, but we're not them. So for us, it's like, yeah, it's life-changing money. We would never have to work. I would literally invest 90% of that money, and the 10% left over, I'd be like, change literally the trajectory of my life still. Literally fixed so many of my issues.
So,
but for them, it's like, no, dude, you guys, I don't even want to look up your net worth before, because then it'll just piss me off more.
That is the perfect closing point. I have
so
nothing I can add
your
to that.
Conundrum, it's like, no. I get what you're saying, but it's like, dude, we're not them. I can't even picture that amount of money in person. And for them, it's like you're mentioning, it's like, yeah, they make $70,000 to do their show in New York. It's like, yeah, I went to New York. I could do that literally every weekend for a month, and all of a sudden, boom, and I got to come to New York. And now I'm not afraid to say something and be imprisoned. You know, for me, it's like, I'll take that risk for 3 days. Just don't P's and Q's, not touching nothing, not looking nowhere. Made my money and I'm out. For you guys, it's like, you really desperate for the $375,000? Really? You could bet you have enough money. You could throw away some of that on red and make it. I can't do that. I couldn't dream of that. So no, I don't respect them for doing it. If any of us here got offered it, I'd be like, get that money. Ask if they got some for me. You know, it's ridiculous.
That is the perfect closing point to this. Doug, do you have any closing thoughts on it?
No, I was just, the whole time you're talking about, like, could you imagine taking 10 times? I'm like, I would probably have to consider that me. But like them, where they can get that money from other ways, that's a little sad. Me, though, I mean, I don't know where I'd be able to get that money unless they offered it to me. So,
well, it's like I look at the top tier and I see the 1.5 million. I'm like, that is 12 times more than what I make a year. That would change my grandkids' life.
Yeah.
And I know for these people, it's like, Tom, you're probably worth $30 million.
Tom, you haven't spent a weekend with your kids in the last 4 months.
Yes.
Go spend that $375,000 to have a weekend with your sons that barely know the color of your eyes.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, this is why it makes no sense to me. But if we were offered that, I'd be like, yeah, man, I would go if I knew, like, hey, this one trip, I'm in literally 7 tax brackets higher than I am right now. What? What? Sorry, start that again. I just have to sign right here. I'm there. For them, it's like, dude, what?
My lifestyle changes 0.
You are one really simple parlay away from making that in a weekend.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. Well, I just love for them, it's if I go and if I don't go, my lifestyle changes Zero.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go sell out the American public.
For us, it's like my grandkids might never have to work again. And I never thought I'd have to even consider that. Yeah, I'm signing.
But you know what's funny is we hold them to this standard, and it's like the Trumps have sold out to Saudi Arabia 2 decades ago.
You know, so it's like I'm not like mad at them, but I'm just like, yo, when you come back and get preachy, I hope your contemporaries, your Shane Gillis and your Mark Marons go like, whoa. What happened at the comedy festival? What really was going on there? Was it Sunshine? Did you get a chance to like go see the locals or no? Did you just stay at the resort, get your 1.5 or your $150,000 and dip? You know, that's where I would be. But they're not going to hold it over their head because they're going to be like, they got their bag.
Yeah, and you know what? I need a guest on my podcast.
Need a guest on my podcast. They all work together. But it's like, I hope their contemporaries will be smart enough to be like, dude, don't get too preachy.
Exactly.
Don't get too preachy.
So getting into our last topic here, this one's going to be a little less dense, but the subject of it couldn't be heavier. We are considering the genetically modified mosquitoes that we didn't vote for, that we didn't ask for, and plagues our planet. We're talking 750 million genetically modified mosquitoes released en masse into our country each year annually.
What you are witnessing right here is something nobody voted for. Nobody said yes to this. If they had taken a vote, I guarantee most people would say no. This is the release of hundreds of millions of genetically modified mosquitoes in Florida.
Look how dark that
the idea behind it, the mainstream official narrative, is that these are genetically modified to be sterile, and when they try to breed with the female mosquito in the wild, it'll lower the mosquito population. But here's the crazy part. Where is the documentation? Because surely they have like a genetic profile and all of the science behind these mosquitoes. We don't see any of that. We just hear we're releasing GMO mosquitoes to keep the population down. What type of gene sequences are included in these mosquitoes? What happens if you're bit by a genetically modified mosquito? Why is there no discussion or transparency on this issue? Now, this article is from 2020, but they've been doing this every year. In 2020, 750 million GMO mosquitoes were approved for release. Who approved them? Certainly they didn't ask the public. And secondly, I will say, you know the food chain? You know that mosquitoes, like frogs eat them, dragonflies, it's a major food source, birds eat them, bats eat them. We know how important bats are for the ecosystem. So this is not a good idea, yet it's being done. Why? Because I don't buy the official story that this is to keep the population of mosquitoes down. That may be the result of this, but there's something else going on here. Comment your thoughts below and follow for more.
They're trying to keep you down.
You want to know why? I never thought I'd have to look out for mosquitoes other than the ones that were near Magic Johnson, but I guess here I am.
Well, what's funny is I've kind of watched this science from afar because, you know, who's at the center of it? The classic DC villain, as always, Bill Gates. Through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, there has been a major funder. The Bill Gates himself has been a major funder of global health initiatives aimed at eradicating malaria, a mosquito-borne disease that kills over 400,000 people annually, mostly children in the sub-Saharan Africa. Since the early 2000s, the foundation has invested billions in malaria research, including vaccines, insecticides, and innovative mosquito control strategies. A notable demonstration of the Gates commitment came in 2009 when he released a harmless swarm of mosquitoes. And he acknowledged this during a TED Talk where he spotlights the urgency of malaria prevention, emphasizing that mosquitoes kill more children under 5 than any other thing. So, buy my vaccine. The foundation's mosquito work focuses on reducing populations of Anopheles species, the primary malaria vectors, through genetic engineering and other tools. What are the negative impacts? That's all we really care about. Skip all the gobbledygook. What are the negative impacts?
It's like, it's a very subtly said, like at the end of those commercials.
Yeah. And you're going to die, and you're going to die, and you're going to die.
Might cause being from the ass.
So what are the negative impacts and controversies? While promising, Gates-funded mosquito projects have sparked significant debate over risks, ethics, and equity. Critics argue that the rush to deploy in low-income countries overlooks long-term consequences, and much opposition stems from legitimate scientific uncertainties rather than unfounded conspiracies. Through misinformation like false claims tying Gates to U.S. malaria outbreaks. Now we're also looking at environmental and ecological risks. Gene drives are self-sustaining and could spread uncontrollably, potentially driving entire mosquito species to extinction and disrupting ecosystems. For instance, eliminating this Anopheles species might harm birds or fish that feed on them, or allow other pest disease vectors to proliferate. There's this self-limiting strain which worries about accidental female releases, surviving in antibiotic-rich environments like farms, establishing harmful colonies. So early trials like in Florida's 2016 OxyTec release, it faced petitions with 170,000 signatures over biodiversity threats. Guess what? They dumped them anyway. Impacts on vulnerable groups. In deployment areas, genetically modified mosquitoes could exacerbate risks for marginalized communities such as farm workers exposed to tetracycline, enabling GE survival with poor health care access. This might increase disease burdens, ironically, like these unintended scenarios, and may cost Brazilians up to $1.1 million projected this year. But the one that we need to overlook, hush, trust the science, is the ethical and regulatory issues. The irreversible nature of gene drives limits public choice. Governments decide for entire populations, bypassing individual consent, unlike bed nets. Risk assessments like the FDA for USA trials are criticized as unrealistic for African context. Public opposition, of course, they go against that. All in all, and overall, while Gates funding has accelerated these promising tools, potentially averting millions of deaths, the projections underscore tensions between innovation, speed, and precautionary ethics. Ongoing consultations aim to address these, but skeptics urge prioritizing community-led low-tech solutions alongside high-tech ones. The sad part is they get their bag, and then when we finally have enough science and experience with this, it's a oopsie. Well, you can't hold it against me because we didn't know. And he gets to make his bag. He also got his secondary life goal, which he has said in TED Talks enough times, which is the decrease of the world population. So he got to trim off some of the fat of the population, catch his bag, and then he gets to escape it all by giving us a good old oopsies. Did I kill that whole bird species? Or did you get bit by genetically modified mosquitoes and now your kids have a third eye? Tell your kid, welcome to the Illuminati. What do you think?
I used to only care about cicadas because they freak me out, and now it's like every year it's like some weird science project is now like, oh great. It was like every 17 years they came out of the ground, but now it's every year. Oh, there's a new science experiment.
Yeah, but and we're the hamsters.
Yeah, some people used to just make paper mache volcanoes. Now we have mosquitoes in the air.
But it's everything.
And how would you know if it's one of those mosquitoes?
Oh, you don't.
That's what I mean.
You just itch more and more and more and more. And then you're like, oh, I have more than, all this summer, they're like, hey, watch out. There's an outbreak of Lyme disease in mosquitoes. They're like, well, you may also grow a third arm. But, we killed all the mosquitoes. It took about 10 years and you have a third arm. But we got the job done. The problem is, in this world of us being the hamsters in the cage, and they just keep changing any kind of the weather, they just keep manipulating the environment we're in, and we're like, oh my God, was that the effect? It's annoying when the crazy guy on the internet, they're turning the frogs gay, keeps getting right. Oh yeah, we were making hermaphrodite frogs with all those byproduct chemicals in the water. Can you believe that they're doing chemtrails in the sky? Don't say that out loud. You're insane. And then literally the last 5 years, they're like, man, the crazy shit we're doing in the sky, it's not working, but we're still trying. It's like, wait, you guys called us insane 10 years ago, and now it's just casual reality. Just throw the chemicals up.
I can't get the image out of my head of like that just swarm of mosquitoes from that video.
Yeah.
Like I think that would genuinely cause genuine terror if I saw that in person.
It literally it is.
What you are witnessing right here.
Just the waves of it. It's the fact those are all mosquitoes, and then they're just dispersing into existence. Those were made in a lab.
Do you think? I probably shouldn't even just say this, but it was just an idea of what like Bill Gates might be doing behind the scenes. But it's a bit.
He's doing one of these. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I was like, do you ever think you like drop like out of like a ceiling, like just a group of those, like on like an animal or like a small child, just to see what happens?
It's science.
That's what I mean.
I'm doing it for science.
That's what I mean.
Don't forget Fauci. Don't forget Fauci burned the faces off of puppies. Yeah. That was his lab. So yeah, there's no shortage. Nobody's off limits to these folks because it's for science.
Again, I'm not saying he did it, but like I'm just saying he probably did it. But, you know
what's crazy is as far as our topics go, we've had a lot of dense ones. There's not much to break down here. It's more of a presentation. Wake the F up. This is your world. You've called your nieces, your nephews, your sons, your daughters, and cousins crazy enough. You can no longer throw your head in the sand. This is your world.
Yeah, you can't throw your head in the sand because the mosquitoes might be in there.
And if you throw your head in it long enough, we're just going to be forced to bury you in it. It's your demise.
you fought, soldier. You're all good now.
You're good.
what Cash Patel say? That psychopath. Have fun at Valhalla or whatever the hell.
Oh God.
Say hello to Odin. I don't want to get into that, but what the hell was that, man?
That's what I'm saying. The world has gone insane. Wake up to the political theater. You're forced to.
They were all like, "Oh, it's just part of his religion." I'm like, "Oh, it's fucking weird."
The whole thing is, yeah, and this is Bill Gates' religion. This is what it looks like when science is your religion. However, it's not a practice where we could test it and work with it. It's a doctrine that you're supposed to shut up, swallow, and accept. Don't test it. Don't test it. Don't even try reaching for that experiment. Trust it because it's science. All right, let's get to our closing segment. We close all of our episodes out with our Wheel of Topics. The whole purpose is to get you involved. Head on over to the Neuro Gym so we can have you get involved, add some topics or some segments you'd like to see us close the show out with. But Doug, let's click on over. What's the topic or the game we're going to be closing the show out with today? Wow, this is really good for today. Really good for the last topic, overpopulation. That's fascinating. You know, sometimes the universe does exactly what was meant to be, what you were expected. So today, yeah, this is a video sent in by one of our users. I have to say, the guy's name's a little goofy. Don't really know him. He goes by Lunch. So this is our topic consideration is overpopulation, and this was submitted by a gentleman named Lunch.
I think the world's overpopulated, man.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's way overpopulated. I think people are better off single. Always. I think people are way cooler when they're single.
That's probably fair too. Interesting. So you take the Bill Burr approach that we've got too many people and we could benefit from weeding it down.
Oh, for sure. And there's just not enough motivation now. You know, at one point in time, yes, there was so much motivation. People had so much drive to get shit done. Everything's getting done for us now. We're having like 10 evolutionary paradigms within a generation.
Right.
It used to take 10 generations to get through one evolutionary paradigm. And so now there's not a need to like work for anything. And that's not like discrediting anybody for what they do, or it's just, I think eventually there's going to be like one just neo-human, and the Earth's going to be in bad enough shape to where the rest of us are going to get left. So like driving to get like this American dream is crazy. Get a van, you know, live, you know, build something in the ground or something, you know, do something cool. Don't get that $400,000 house, you know, at these interest rates. Don't do it. Don't fall for it.
Especially at these interest rates, like you're saying.
Yeah. And well, it's not going to get better. And they're just going to burn down your neighborhood whenever they want to turn it into farmland or whatever.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Will, is the planet overpopulated? Should we just grab a van, get lost?
I don't know, but that guy's fun at parties. In this country, no. Do I think it's overpopulated in this country? No. I think like India, yeah. China, yeah. Like, you know,
Japan, man. Your rooms are like these tiny little things.
Wait, but Japan, not so much, Doug, because they have like they have a deficit in birth rates. They're birthing less than they have.
And I think we are too in this.
We are at that point too.
There are like certain countries still in this world.
But
like,
Japan's cities is like their cities they've embraced.
New York's the same way, Doug. I don't know if you've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, my cousin's apartment is a closet.
Yeah, and Will's point stands. Not overpopulated.
Yeah, no, I don't necessarily believe. Now, is the entire world? No, I don't think so. Because I just like think of like this continent, right? Like there's so much north of here.
You know what makes it feel overpopulated is a dictator that goes, "You're stuck here, can't leave."
Right.
Like if once we have the more, again, you don't want a new world order and a one world government, but eventually the human race unites itself in some way, and you're probably local states under one national government. It's kind of like the United States globally, and you should do that. You should be locally governed, but with one generic understanding of a constitution, human rights, what the basic human has, and then here's the framework the rest of you can play with. Once
like
you have that, then a country like India, a country like China, they can disperse, and it isn't so concentrated to where it's a problem. That situation they have is only a problem because it's like they're stuck in a pen, and the dictator's like, "You can't leave, you can't leave."
Because like that's the thing. Like my next question is like as a world, are we like running out of resources and I'm like missing here or something? Like I know not necessarily in this country, but it's like I mean, I know fresh water
in
at
some ways
we are going
yes. Like we keep saying oil's finite, and then we're like, oh my God, the earth is kind of a living organ and you just got to look for it in other places. However, technology and the human evolution is getting beyond oil. And so look at something like Ukraine. Why is Ukraine such a conversation piece in the political arena? It ain't China. It's not Russia. It's Ukraine. And it's because this little, just like Taiwan.
Yeah.
There are finite resources
right there.
And those resources are the future. Right. So the cobalt, the lithium, these things that your batteries, your computers, the hardware that which it's made of, those are the resources that we're not mining. I mean, it takes slave conditions to mine lithium at a pace that doesn't keep up with Tesla's productions.
Right.
So, yeah, it's not so much that there's not enough lithium. It's we don't have enough labor to mine it in a way that it keeps up with the market. So at a certain point, we could have a surplus, we could have a deficit in oil. It doesn't matter. The economy is now shifted to a different resource. The chips in Taiwan makes this little island outside of China everybody's prerogative.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting dynamic when you consider like, okay, is there a finite in resources that overpopulation is a concern? Well, it's a consideration when you want to put an iPhone in everyone's hand, but the world can live without an iPhone in everyone's hand.
Right.
Can you get a McDonald's cheeseburger in everyone's hand? Well, now we've shifted things up. Maybe you just got to go to tofu. That's easy. So food isn't finite like lithium is.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's why I don't necessarily that, and just the declining birth rates. Like that. That's why I think the world itself is literally pushing back against overpopulation.
Here's what I'll say. We just left the segment where I make it very clear I am of the belief somebody like Bill Gates is a movie villain. But I would happily, for the sake of just liberating me from my ignorances, I'd happily sit at a table with one of the richest men in the world and try to truly investigate the inquiry.
Mm-hmm.
Is the world overpopulated? I'd love to see if the brilliant computer genius could persuade me, because I'm not convinced currently. But when you look at somebody like Lunch, this guy isn't coming from a philosophical, political science, truly logical and educated perspective. This is a grunge, monster drinking couch dweller that doesn't like that he is in a hamster wheel job he doesn't like, and he also doesn't like the fact that he gets stepped over by the cute girls in his local community and doesn't have many friends. So you could tell he has a resentment towards the world. Well, if I could just walk in the park and not see anybody, life would be so much better. And it's like, you're a hermit and we're social animals. This is a you problem. Like, this isn't that we're overpopulated and that you just said it. The solution, grab your van and just go. It's like, no, you're a hermit. You're nothing.
Oh, it's one of those things. It's like, grab your van and go. And thinking in my head, I was like, yeah, they're still populated.
You're going to go somewhere where you'll see people.
Yeah, So no, I don't necessarily think so. And I think if it was a concern, I think we as a society would feel it more. I think we would feel that pressure more.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like the world's coming in on us. And it's simply because it's claustrophobic.
Well, and you'd be hungry.
Right, yeah.
I wouldn't be full sitting here going,
and again, I understand
Bell
there are countries
taco
out there
after
where like there's a lack of resources and stuff like that, but those are usually the ones where they're complaining that their map on the globe isn't quite as large.
Right. Doug, did you have any considerations of maybe if we're overpopulated or not?
I mean, I'm not as angry about thinking we might be as he is. I think you actually nailed it by saying he's a hermit, like just must hate being around other people, because I don't think we necessarily are. I think parts of the world are, like we talked about, like New York City, man, like rent and the apartments you can get there versus, you can find an apartment around here. Finding a house may be difficult, but you can find an apartment that's going to be bigger than a New York apartment. So like, do I think we're overpopulated? No. Do I think certain areas are? Definitely, but definitely not the world as a whole, I'd say.
I just think of like the whole Midwest. I'm talking about like, it's like there's so much land out there that we're literally not allowed to touch because the parks are like, can't live here. It's like, if it was truly overpopulated, we'd be like, we have to use this land.
Great.
And that's just this country. Like, I know there's infinite land in Russia that
I was about to say,
so that's why it's like, no,
or even in China, we're going to sit here and say China's overpopulated as they have lands the size of Ohio just vacant.
But also like the large part of Russia that's like open is Siberia, and you want to live in Siberia.
If it's that overpopulated, yes.
Yeah, but how do you live in
that's
Siberia?
The thing. It's like we still have the liberty to choose where geographically we want to reside on this planet still.
Yeah.
At that point, Siberia, it's where you got picked. Sorry, dude. At least you got a house.
Yeah, you're alive.
Yeah, like that.
I don't know if you heard the news, we're overpopulated.
And it'd be one thing if like the year by year the global birth rate was increasing like stupid percent. Like, oh, we've never seen numbers like this. It's like
it can't be going up in third world countries while desperately going down and in a deficit in the first world countries.
Exactly. So that's no, I actually, the more I've thought of it, I disagree completely.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Well, guys, we appreciate the folks that submit videos, that submit topics to be a segment involved with the Wheel of Topics as we close out our show. To do so, all you have to do is go over to our website and join us at the Neuro Gym. It's our free social media alternative. It's a forum that you can discuss and interact directly with us in the community. So head on over there so you could drop some topics and ideas you'd like to see on the show and maybe get yourself featured at the end. However, we've got all these different shows across the platforms. We do our Sunday football review and our fun reactions show on that reaction channel, which is a different YouTube channel. We also have our podcast and other shows. So if you're looking for one central place where you can find all of our content, that's at our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. If we made you laugh, if we made you think, the best thing you could do to support this show is hit that like button and be sure to hit the subscribe and join us for when this comes around. Hit the buttons. There's a bell. There's all these different fun little tabs. Hit them so you don't miss us when we come around each week. But we're here every week, and we appreciate everybody that joined us for the live show, and we'll catch you next week. Peace.